What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back with a new video. Finally, some news that is worth talking about. Something that we've needed probably a week ago, but at least it's happening right now. Let's just hope that the final process doesn't take months and months. It shouldn't do, but at least the wheels are in motion now that Leeds United will have new owners. Before we get into that, you know the drill, people. Like the video. Best way to support the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, but either way, you're watching anyway, so it don't matter to me. Um, and drop your comments below on anything discussed. Shout out to John Abbott for a super thanks on the last video. Shout out to Pete, who's a new member of the channel. Memberships are in the description below, and they all go to helping me out and helping the channel out. So much appreciate to every single one of you, seriously. Shout out to everyone. Just quickly on this one, because I've seen this one so many times. Owen here saying, greetings, KG. What are your thoughts on the prospect of 60 executive members? Decisions may take more time. Worries me. It's just investors. They're investors of it. They are just people that literally give money. They are in the background kind of people. It's always going to be your main guys at the head of the table, to borrow a phrase, who are going to be in charge of that. These guys will just invest their money. Obviously, if anything goes skewy, if anything goes wrong, let's say we went dropping into League One, these people would probably ask questions. But other than that, it's nothing to worry about. Okay, so Katrina saying, I don't know what to believe on Twitter anymore as there's so many fans on the wind-up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Katrina. I don't go by you see me. I only turn up when I see people that are kind of that I trust or who have a better hit than miss record. And luckily for me, one of them in particular is somebody who is usually on money with these kind of things, and that's Mike McGrath. He's usually good with these kind of things when it comes to takeovers, transfers, and that's the only reason why I'm here today. All right. So if it was just some random Joe Blow on Twitter, then I wouldn't be here. You know how I roll on this channel. Um, Jed saying, in my best Shang Tsung voice, it has begun. Yeah, man. Listen, I'm just happy. I'm happy that it's going through. Obviously, we don't know what we're going to get with the 49ers in terms of in terms of what they're going to do for the club. But you've got to think with the, let's not forget, this is a very wealthy organization. I know that the price that they've acquired us is much less than what they were originally going to pay if we're in the Prem, but that probably means there's more to invest in the team, right? I hope so. I hope so. All you can do is get behind the owners and hope that they're going to do good things. Now I hear people's concerns, obviously, that they were behind, Jack Harrison staying rather than Andrea getting, his way in selling him. So you kind of already look at him and go, what's your talent ID really like? But hopefully they'll get some people in that will know what they're talking about. There's still appointments to be made. Obviously, that I always forget how to say his name, Parag Marath. Parag Marath. I'm gonna get to know it. Obviously, I'm gonna have to, but he's gonna be involved. Angus Kinnear is gonna be sticking around, and they're obviously going to employ a few more people around the place. So listen, what is there? 8 days, 7 days till the transfer window opens. Yeah, let's get this moving. Let's keep this thing moving on the road. Richard Lewis saying, let the clear out begin. I hope so, Richard. They need to have, it's so important for me that the 49er enterprises have their own vision and own ideas of what they want. If we're just going to continue in the same way that we did under Andrea Radrizzani, then I don't know what's going to happen to us. We may just stick where we are. Because, the one guy that I can't say his name, someone spell it out for me and how you say it. But he's been in the crowd many times. I've seen him at Ellen Road the few times that I've been there this season. He's usually there next to Andrea and all that. And if he's let that passion or sentimentality infiltrate him rather than doing what's best for business, then I worry then. But we got to give them time. Let's see what their ideas are. Let's see who's the director of football. Let's see who the manager is. Yeah. William here saying, need to get the right manager who will attract good players. Well, 100%, William. And we can do that. Like I say, we've been relegated, but we're still on the first year of parachute payments, and hopefully just the 1 year's needed. But we're in a very strong position in this league. It's not like it was before where there's quite a few teams that could go up. We've seen this season with Luton and everyone else that, yeah, you can have a good season or whatever, but it's not like before where it was a free-for-all in the championship. There's a lot of bad teams in this league, so many bad teams. The football's ugly, and the playing staff isn't as good as it was pre-pandemic. Let me say pandemic. Don't want to say the C word, but it's not as good because the money isn't flowing like it was before. And before you know it, sometimes you see a team that's maybe 12th. You hear next week that they've got a points deduction. They're down in 19th. It's absolutely mad in the championship now. It's not the same as it was when we was last there. So hopefully that means a quick return. Huh? A quick return, please. Yeah, I know, Mr. P. I know it's Parag Marath, but is that how you say it? I feel like that is not how you say it. I don't know why. Parag, I don't know. Maybe it's too simple. I don't know. Maybe it is that. Um, Ben saying, surely anyone they bring in can see the problems in this mid squad. Ben, I would hope so. But you see the thing we've had, what is it, 4 managers this season? And how many times did we see our better, more technical, skillful players on the bench? Meanwhile, the huff and puffers were in the starting lineup. How many times did we see it? And it was multiple managers, Ben. For me, it's going to take somebody who's ruthless, to got their own ideas, and they're willing to cut out the noise of when they walk around and hearing that Luke Ayling's the greatest right back they've ever seen, and say, nah, that's not true. I'm going to play someone else or someone like that. And I don't want to get onto individuals as such, but you know who I'm talking about. The same old guys. We need somebody who's headstrong and who's just technically a better manager than we've had since Bielsa. Yeah, Leeds saying Bowyer threw his name in the mix. Wouldn't be unhappy with him. Lee Bowyer's starting to feel like the annual uh, Gary Mackay-Stevens, Billy Sharp before we got him, Adam Lafondra thing. It's going to be one of these things. It feels like until he's actually manager of Leeds, comes back to Leeds, we're going to keep getting the Lee Bowyer link every time there's a new manager. It's insane. But yes, he was on TalkSport talking about he had a couple of conversations before Sam Allardyce was appointed, and he would have 100% taken the job at that point. So of course, with the job being available now, he would come in and you. Hey, listen, the 49 Enterprise will probably hear from a lot of Leeds fans that do like Lee Bowyer. I understand there's a few that don't, but they'll probably hear from a lot of fans and think, hey, maybe this is a good idea. But I'm hoping that we're going to. I love Lee Bowyer as a player. He was one of the best players that I've seen play for Leeds easily. When you talk about box to box, he was the man. Goals, assists, tackles, running around the place, but with purpose. He was the man. But I don't know as a manager. It hasn't gone too well for him in places he's been. He's entered some jobs in under tough circumstances. But I don't know, man. I want someone better, man. I think if we're aiming for the Premier League at the first time of asking, we've got to get somebody better in. And that's my personal opinion. But I understand people that will say, the good old he knows the club stuff, bingo, ding. But I don't know. I just want someone better. But we'll see who the 49 Enterprises have got in mind. Zero. Bob here saying zero ambition. If they get Boy in, record is poised. Yeah, his managerial record isn't what it is. And for me, I want to remember him as the player that was on the pitch, just absolutely being. He was brilliant on the pitch. And if it wasn't for his off the field shenanigans, he would have had more than the one England cap. He was so good. Um, Let me get these super chats in before they go. And thank you guys for the support. Seriously. Mr. P saying, here's to a celebratory super malt. Other malt drinks are available. Shout out to Ty. Hoping that the 49ers have their pieces in place just awaiting official takeover. Yeah, I would get the article up from the Daily Mail, but the page is just full of ads and I can't risk, any copyright infringements on my channel. But I'll try and read as much as I can of it and give you the details. Mark Hart saying KGR Leeds United sold to the 49ers. Yeah, with everything that's been said, it sounds like it's just going to the EFL now for their ratification checks. And then it's done. It sounds like Andrea Radrizzani and the 49 Enterprises have completed the deal. 170 million, a lot less than the near 400 million that they would have got in the Prem, or Andrea would have got in the Prem. But yeah, it sounds like it's as good as done. Radiby Leeds saying, call me mad, but are we to believe the American 49ers had nothing to do with the Marsh appointment? What track record did they actually have? Radiby Leeds, it's a great question. We don't know, do we? And the only thing that we do know is about the Jack Harrison thing, that they vetoed that. They said, nah, he's staying here. As far as Jesse Marsh, I don't know who wanted him. Maybe it was the 49ers because it sounded like Radrizzani wanted Jesse gone after the Fulham game. our home loss against Fulham. So yeah, it does sound like they probably had a couple of bad decisions there, but Rugby Leeds and everyone else, all we can hope is that these people in charge learn from their mistakes or hire people that are proven in those areas to that have gotten more right than wrong. That is all we can do. You know, if they're here, they're here now. We're not going to get them out next week. You got to back them. You know what I mean? Damar saying that the EFL checks take a long time. They used to, Damar. Do you remember some of our old takeovers? Some of those used to last weeks to months, and with good reason with some of them. I mean, how GFH passed, I don't know what was in those checks then. I think they're a bit more stringent now, but how GFH passed in that era, I don't know. I honestly don't know. They had no money, zero money. I can't believe they passed it, but I think there's new people at the EFL now, and I think that the owner checks are a lot more swift and they're much better now. So yeah, and they won't be going through 60 people as well, by the way, just for that earlier question. It's just for the main directors and owners. Um, let's have a look. Scott Lightning saying, if the 49ers can get just one of our big players to stay, I think more will then follow. Yeah, it's a domino effect, Scott. I mean, some people do want to go on their own path, and we'll see another move, like say if it's a big club and say it probably won't come again. I understand that one, but Scott Linehan is right. If you can get a couple of the players, if you can get them together and say, guys, if you guys give us this year, just this 1 year, we will go back up. And if not, we will happily sell you. You can do that, but it's going to take a good effort by the 49ers. But hopefully, they've already built a little bit of trust with already being minority shareholders at the club, that they'll already know some of these players. And they can say to your Tyler Adams, to your Willie Nantos, Somerville. I mean, just thinking of some of these guys in the championship, guys, I just see goals. I see goals. Somerville and Nanto in the championship will cook like mad. Mateo Joseph today with his post. I want to see more of Mateo Joseph as well as an established striker. That would be really nice. But yeah, if we can keep some of our better players, we'll be one of the strongest teams in the league. 100% we will. Um, yeah, yeah, Demar, that was it. The Toma days, man. Take over my arse. Yeah. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Richard here saying the EFL check should be quick as they already own 44%. I'm not sure how they do it. I don't know any of the details, so I will not pretend to know, Richard. But you would hope that with them already being part shareholders, that it shouldn't take as long. I would love it to be done by the before the start of the transfer window, because we need to get that moving ASAP. ASAP Rocky, honestly. Let me just see if there's any details off this article that I haven't said. Uh, yeah, it is understood that the 49ers enterprise is comprised of over 60 investors. Parag Marath and Peter Lowry are two of the most well known. Angus Kinnear will be sticking around. Andrew Zani had agreed a valuation of 420 million with the 49ers. That would have been netted him over 200 million from selling his remaining 56% shareholding, but that was contingent on Leeds retaining their Premier League status. Sorry, as Mail Sport revealed last month, 49ers valuation dropped by 220 million following relegation. So yeah, that is the article, and that is by Matt Hughes. Let me give him his full credit. And Ellen Road, by the way, for anybody that's wondering, Ellen Road is part of that deal, so there's no danger of Ellen Road going anywhere or being loaned against or anything like that. So don't worry about that either. Um, Abdul Rahman is saying, "Oh, thank you for the donation, my man. Great news, buddy. So happy right now. Yeah, it just feels like it's the next step of the process. I've absolutely come. I want to let everyone know I've come with peace now to the relegation. It's taken me much like when we first didn't go up the first time under Bielsa. It took me 2 weeks, and anyone around me that was around me at that point would tell you I was not very nice to be around. I was just quiet. It wasn't that I was horrible. I was just really low. And I just knew the first thing that I always said when we lost that playoff semi-final is, as long as we got Bielsa, I think we will come up the second year. And now with this, it's more of a case of we need these new owners to get everything else moving, because linking to players or anything else like that is pointless, because we need the infrastructure in place. And with this now, with it just being EFL checks that needed, hey, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Righteous One is saying, "Ers." Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. But I don't know what "ers" means, but thank you. Oh, is that the 49ers thing? Is that what they say for the 49ers? I don't follow American football. So I wouldn't be able to tell you. That's not my thing. Ice hockey and NBA, that's where I'm proficient. Yes. Yeah, Karen, yeah, 100%. Karen, big support of the channel. Huge relief for us after so much uncertainty, 100%. Matt saying, I'm actually looking forward to the championship if it's only for a season. Don't get me wrong, Matt. I wish that it didn't have to come to this. I wish that we could have accumulated more than 31 measly points in the Premier League, but we're here now, and you have to deal with what's in front of you. Okay. And for me, like you say, Matt, if this is our 1 year, hey, at least we'll win some games and we can talk about some wins together. That would be nice, wouldn't it, people? Oh man, the past couple of years have been so rough doing this. I can't lie. But the fact that we can possibly talk about some wins with some new exciting players, I'm all for it, man. Let's go. Um, Martin Peter saying, "Come on, people, show the love and hit the like button." Yes, please hit the like button. And yeah, that's the best way to help the channel. No, Jimmy, I'm not bringing that up again. No chance. Um, but yeah, let me just get yeah, let me just show this one just for more clarity. I've talked about Matt Hughes, but this is when it put my interest when I saw Mike McGrath talk about it on Twitter. So there you go. He'll also have an article, but the Telegraph is behind a paywall, so I can't really get that up. I'm not subscribed to the Telegraph, but yeah, American group could increase states to complete ownership at reduced price after relegation by the weekend, and you'd assume that by the weekend means after EFL checks, wouldn't you? So there you go. Man, my voice getting husky. Hold on. Not gonna lie, my voice is a little husky. I was at Gladiators yesterday, man. As some of you know that follow me on Instagram, you'll know this. Um, so many funny responses to that one, by the way. Tobes in particular, who says that since my team got relegated, now I'm at arenas watching TV shows instead of doing streams, and that's just not true, is it? But it tickled me. It tickled me. But you know, Lewis, Lewis, buddy, doom, doom, doom. Another one bites the dust. Doom, doom, doom. Of course I did. Of course I did, man. Um, but you know what? Hey, listen, it kind of links into Andrea Radrizzani going, doesn't it? But yeah, Gladiators, by the way, excellent day. And I can't wait to see how it turns out on TV. Awesome. Yeah, Lewis. But Radrizzani, I want to say this as well, because I think recency bias here. McAllister Bishop here saying, "Let's go, KG. Big up, my man. Bye bye, Radrizzani." And what I will say with Radrizzani is that, I mean, it is on his point. It is his fault that a lot of these things have gone back to where we are. So he gets credit for the promotion, but you also have to hold that for the relegation too. You can't have it both ways. But what I will say is that it wasn't that he didn't spend money, but the money that he did spend wasn't, it was spent poorly. And also, we didn't have enough money of it in the Premier League. You could see that, couldn't you? We were light in so many areas that Andrea just could not compete. He couldn't compete on. We need three centre backs. We can't even get one. We need central midfielders. They cheaply bought. Tyler Adams was great, 15. Mark Rucker, was he 10? But you could see what on the shopping, the shopping center we were shopping in, it wasn't Gucci, was it? So, and you could see that he was struggling with that. He was hoping to do everything on the cheap. We finished ninth. He thinks that we can just run it back again, even though some of those players were fading in that year that we finished ninth. But what I will say is, we was renting Ellen Road before. I know we've rented it recently, but he got it back in Leeds United's control. He was, for all his misses, he did sanction the Bielsa, signing, which eventually, breathed life back into the club. And I think recency will always tell you that, yeah, get him out of the club and everything else like that. And I've been like that. I've told you already months ago. if he hasn't got the capital to keep Leeds United or take Leeds United forward, he has to go. But he goes for me, and I think it's because we've had such a poor run of owners. Yeah, he's not the worst for me. He's just not the worst. And even Ridsdale, for all his faults of just spending ridiculously, even then, we still got a Champions League semi-final out of it. But we've had some poor owners in between. Let's not forget Ken Bates, yeah, GFH, who I mentioned earlier. We've had some absolute charlatans. Chilino, for all his good as well. That when he tried, that whole Chris Wood thing. I've given you 3 million to buy Chris Wood. Okay, cool. But it was a clown show, wasn't it? It was an absolute circus. Radrizzani, for me, if he had just trusted or hired better people, he probably would be in a better position. But that is on him, and hopefully, well, hopefully, I don't really care at this point. When he goes to Sampdoria, maybe he'll get better people around him and to handle the football matters, because he didn't do it at Leeds United, which is why we're back in the championship. And yeah, below, in it, live long enough to see himself become the villain. He did, because I will not forget that. Listen, I always say I don't rewrite stuff. And when we got promoted, there were so many people. Radrizzani, Bielsa obviously number one. But Radrizzani, thank you so much. You've brought our club back. Oh, we love you. We love you. And obviously, once it goes sour, everyone's like, you're the worst owner ever. And that's just not true, I'm afraid. It isn't. We did spend money, but just not enough. Um, sorry, hold on a second. Uh, Okay, yep. Sorry, yep. Just had to check something there. Yeah, Bob's saying you see that NBA guy posted a pic at Ellen Road. Yeah, Larry Nance Jr. Yeah, basketball player. I don't know what he is. I don't know if he's connected to the 49ers, by the way. Is he one of those minority investors? Who knows? I don't know his full involvement. All I do know is that he left a very healthy, generous donation to the Square Ball guys for their upcoming what is it, 92-mile walk. So shout out to him for that, because it was very generous, man. I mean, very generous. Hey. Lovely. But yeah, I don't know what he is to the 49ers, but I did see that he was smiling at the prospect of 49ers fully taking over. So I'm thinking he must have something to do with it. We'll see in the coming weeks, I guess, or coming days, I hope. David saying, I'm glad you're bringing those good points up, KJ. Well, it's just being fair, David. And something I always am, no matter if I like somebody or if I don't like somebody, I'll always try and be fair. And it's very easy to just think now he's said some things that he shouldn't have said, in terms of we'll never be in a relegation battle, or even just a couple, what was it, a week ago with his statement where it sounded like he was actually going to stay. Was that another chess move just to say 49ers, you need to get your finger out and get this thing done? We don't know, but all I'll say is that he just wasn't the worst for me. And even though we've gone back down, and that is on his head completely, because he didn't go with his gut, sell players, he didn't go with his gut and sack Jesse Marsh. He relied on other people. That's it on him for relying on the wrong people. I think his intentions were always good, but just maybe naive. I would say he was naive for the Premier League. That's my overall opinion on him. Okay, right, right. So people are saying Larry Nance is one of the investors. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Um, no problem. Yeah, I mean, Jason saying, do you think Raz used Ellen Road to push the sale through quicker? It all seems like little chess pieces, doesn't it? At very high levels that I guess we can't even imagine at where we are. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was the case. I don't see how, though, because you would have to put that in writing. So I think he would have used it, maybe, or maybe it was just like the article says, he was exploring the option of using Ellen Road as collateral. But for me, it kind of all accumulates to this now, where 49 enterprises are in the house now, and that is it. Hopefully, the EFL just get on with it, get them in the door before the weekend, and then we can proceed and talk about transfers in and out. Hopefully not the good players, but yeah, hopefully we can talk about that and see where we are in the championship, because we got to be competitive. Leicester have already started to make their moves known about who's going to be going. There's whispers of who they're trying to come in. Somebody mentioned Elias Chair, who's at QPR. Who I think is a good player. He had a bad season last season, though. He went went so cold. And even in previous season with Ilias Chair, his talent level is so high, but his inconsistency is so frustrating. I could imagine him coming to Leeds United and having some of his quiet games and people saying, you know, this guy is all show pony and everything else like that. But if you could get the best of Ilias Chair, that's a real good signing. But I'm seeing prices for him quoted at 10 million. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. But like I say, there's no point talking about these kind of players. But the main point I was trying to make is that Leicester are already getting players drawn up on their shortlist, and we'll see how quickly they move once the window opens. Bob saying, I'd love to get Haim a year left on the deal. Yeah, I mean, we've got to go and look for these kind of players. Hopefully, though, we can still get some kind of players that I believe would be top end championship players, but could possibly do it in the Premier League as well. I mean, I still think that we should be in for those. I believe Leicester and Southampton will be in for those kind of players too. Like I said in the last video, we're in a very strong financial position in terms of the championship, and we have to take advantage of that before we sign too many average players, and then we end up with no parachute payments and we go back to where we were before. We don't want that. So let's get the best we can and go from there. And listen, the 49 enterprises again, aren't they valued at something like 6 billion? Hey, I think we should be okay, man. Maliki saying up for the revolution, marching up together. Yeah, man. Let's see what they do for us. Let's see what they do. Lee Case was saying, hi, KG. Apparently, Leeds are in talk with Steven Gerrard. I mean, again, keep seeing stuff like this, but no one that I trust or that I would take their word for has said anything about Steven Gerrard. It just seems to be speculation and think pieces at this time. So I'm not going to comment on it for now. Enzio saying, spot on there, KG on Rads. He did a lot good for us as well. Shame to see it end like this. 49 is different level though, so hopefully we can push on now, mate. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you just have to be fair, man. I know it's easy and it's still very raw, the relegation. So I don't get me wrong. I get people's kind of thought processes on Andrea at this point at this time. But me, like I say, I'm an energy guy, man. I believe that you got to give credit where credit's due, but you also can take away that credit when it goes wrong too. But at least bring up the positive points that he did have. Um, but yeah. I mean, Bob's here. Easy to link us with out of work managers. Yeah, we're getting linked to everybody right now. It's a joke. And there's unless Angus Kinnear is the one doing the work behind the scenes, which one article said he was, then there's nothing happening until this takeover's done. I mean, how can we have a manager being spoke about unless the 49ers are talking to Angus right now? If they're not fully in charge, it just doesn't make no sense to me. But yeah, I mean Byron, I'm not gonna put that up because that I mean that's just rude. But then you got people that think what Byron thinks, and if you want to know what Byron thinks, he's in the live chat right now. Jesus. RP saying Rads has lost a massive amount of money. He has suffered more than most for our relegation. Oh, RP, I mean that kind of take might get you stoned, mate. You know, one of them. Now we've suffered as fans the most. Doesn't matter about a businessman. He'll come back again. But yeah, I mean, all that stuff as well about being happy that he's lost money. I mean, that does nothing for me. I don't know if it makes you sleep better at night. Do you have sweet dreams about that? I just don't get that kind of mentality myself. I mean, like I say, energy is big for me. But yeah, he's lost over 200 million on this deal. That's a lot of money. Whether you've got 2 billion in the bank or 200 million in the bank, that's a lot of money to lose out on. So yeah, he's paying for his error with this sale at 170 million. But hey, 170 million that could pay this month's bills. Let me tell you that. Yeah, let me tell you that. But yeah, listen, people, I just wanted to give that update on that. I don't think there's anything else on the docket. I don't think I got anything else. No, I don't. I don't. But yeah. Benjio saying that he's made a good profit considering he paid 45 million. Yeah, it's all good, isn't it? It's all good about. I mean, 400 million would be nicer, wouldn't it? But hey, listen, he's got to sleep on that, hasn't he? He's got to sleep on that. Uh, but yeah, listen, people, just wanted to come through with that just to give an update on that. We've been waiting for this news for. I've been waiting for this since we got relegated. I'll be honest with you. I feel like it should have been done a lot quicker, but at least it's done before the transfer window begins. We'll see when the EFL officially rubber stamp it and we can go forward, go through in the transfer market and get Leeds United back on a positive footing again, because it's been 2 years of absolute nothingness, hasn't it? It's been horrible the last 2 years with the football we've seen, the amount of managerial appointments. It's just been a mess, hasn't it? So hopefully this gives us new stability. Let's go, man. Let's get out this championship the first time of asked, because I don't want to do this again next season. All right. But yeah, listen, before I go, like Arinda says here, hit the likes for me. Best way to support the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop your comments below. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.